Yeah, yeah. Innovation is automatic cause we create. We ain't got time for the hating cause we just motivate. Sitting back, chopping it up with my homeboys. Back to back, talking them facts till we on, boy. Yeah, and we bout our business. We gon' push the culture forward and y'all gon' witness. So relentless, if I said it, I meant it. We just be dropping assembly pod and please don't mix it.
Create, innovate, motivate, create, innovate, motivate, create, innovate, motivate, create.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Trez.
What's up? It's Hayden.
Dev.
And we are the Assembly Podcast. Today on the podcast, we talked about, do you have to solidify yourself as an artist, or could you come out and show your versatility when you come out?
Yeah, and we also talked about, is there a glass ceiling for age? Like, can you be in your mid-40s or 50s and still pop, still make it? So, hope you guys enjoy.
Yay. Do y'all
Yeah.
think that there's a certain age where, like, it's too late for you to get on, like, to do music and, like, make things happen? Is there a certain age, like, all right, at this age, you should just wrap it up?
I think there used to be,
But not now.
yeah. And of course you would have like the unicorn who would make it over the years.
Mhm.
Names don't come to mind, but I think of like that lady who was like always an extra in all the movies, that older black lady. Or the shows or whatever
wait,
it was. I
who
don't
you
know.
said?
I would never know her name. I would have to really
No,
research.
but I feel like in acting that happens a lot. I mean, like there's
Yes.
there's some like Academy Award winning actors and actresses that didn't start until like their 40s or 50s.
Because there are so many roles that cast for the old man. So it's like, more so now it's like a great time to get put on. I think about the lady that's in the Rihanna ads, with the long gray hair.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? She has such a vibe.
That's true.
The old guy that be fly all the time. I don't know his name, but the old guy that was super GQ and like he was like everywhere.
Yeah,
and
I
he had
think I
like
know
the
you're-
salt and pepper beard.
Yeah, I
and
think I know what
like,
you're talking about. Like
know,
kind of like a little like olive skinned.
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
like
I remember that. Guy.
But in music though, y'all think you could be any age and pop? Because I think it's a little different, slightly.
I think that it looks different. I don't think you can still not have a career, even a good solid career. I think that it's going to look a little different because I think there's definitely something to be said about even what's all required to really be on like that. I mean, you got to be touring all the time. You've got to be, doing the videos, doing the photo shoots, doing a lot all the time. Not to mention constantly be creating, constantly doing that. I think, maybe when you get a little older, that becomes a little bit more challenging. I could see how that would become a little bit more challenging. Having said that, though, I mean, there's still people. I mean, I went and saw, Babyface and Charlie Wilson. You know what I mean? That was one of the best live shows I've seen. Like, for real. Like, it was crazy.
They're so
It was
seasoned.
one of my favorites for a few
I mean,
years.
Babyface is besides Beyonce, he's probably number 2 right after her. And she has a lot to go with her production.
Yeah.
And he had a lot too, but I mean, you got to think about Beyonce level. For him to bring that energy for me without, he was dancing, he was getting the crowd. The songs, the song selection, like all the songs he's written like over the years, like it was just crazy. Like I knew it, but I just didn't think he was gonna bring that kind of. I thought Babyface was gonna get up there and sing, whatever, like sing some good songs. That was fire. But no, it was like a whole nother level.
I was blown away. Like I was not expecting that. Not saying that again. I guess it's just
for a long time. So this is
I've been wanting to see him for a while.
I've been wanting to be him for a while.
Be him for a while.
So
Oh
it's
my
just
God.
like I wasn't surprised. I was just happy and overjoyed that I was there.
I would love to write. That's like he had an era of songs like. You hear a song, that's Baby. You could just the chords, the progressions with the lyrics, the melodies. Like you knew that would that's Baby. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's Babyface.
Yeah, and you check them credits,
and that's what I want. And that's another thing too. Is like I feel like there's not enough of that nowadays. Like everything sounds alike. Everything sounds it's similar. It's like this is the modern age. This is the modern sound. But like who's gonna be the next person to make the next? Sound.
But what you're referencing right now is that what happens is somebody does create their own sound,
right?
And it does well for them, and then people artists, labels, whatever you want to
Copy
call
it.
it.
Copy
Yes,
it.
they mimic it, you know,
Yeah.
and then it becomes this generalized thing. And I've seen that across all genres.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit tough, especially, looking at things from an industry perspective. I can see how it's a lot tougher for them to maybe take a risk. It's because it is riskier, even when you got like talking business wise,
Yeah.
because it's like when you see something that's worked, that's a proven model,
Exactly.
and it's a little tough to really call it that when you're talking about like art, but a proven model of sound, style, whatever, it's a lot more of a better bet for them that they could, have it make a good investment into somebody or into an artist or into a project. Whereas if it's something new, it's sketchy because like, is this really going to catch on like that? Even though, when you get, some people who think it's dope, but is the general population going to think it's dope? Is it going to be something that could really start a new wave like that? It's a lot riskier. And I think that's why, especially nowadays, it's important to where I think that you have to have that, you got to hustle yourself and you got to show and prove that yourself. Because if you show, hey, look, I've got a following, I've got this new sound, people fuck with this. That's a lot easier to have a proven track record. Look, I've gotten these numbers. I'm getting these shows. I'm making this money, all that. Then it's like, all right, yo, this is working. This is worth an investment. And I think, it's harder. And I think especially like with labels and certain aspects of the industry, kind of being in a little bit of trouble or peril at times, especially in like the past decade or so. I think it's been, especially in the label world, it's been a lot, would be even more of a risk because they don't have as much maybe capital or money to play with as they used to. They, people aren't getting the types of budgets for projects and for things like that than they used to.
Well, it reminds me of what I had said amongst us a while, like 2 weeks ago. How I hate to waste money on food, so I don't usually go outside and just try a whole bunch of new things because if I spend a bunch of money and then it's nasty, I'm gonna be like genuinely upset. Beyond the fact that the food was disgusting, now I'm out money and I'm still hungry, so I'm gonna have to spend more money. and so I get why labels would be afraid and whatnot. It's less about the art and more about the business side of things, which kind of sucks, and
it does.
That's why you see artists who, are kind of like, I make the same music as somebody else, but I'm the one that dances. I'm the one who has this girlfriend, or just like the stuff outside of music.
What makes you unique besides the music?
It's the little twist on something that people already know and see and familiar with.
But it's time for a new sound because I feel like we've right now with R&B. I feel like we have like we've had like the Bryson Tiller, like trap soul type R&B for a long time. And that's like been the sound for R&B, like the hip hop R&B. It's not like any like just R&B. It's like, it's a mix,
Yeah.
And I feel like now is about the time for now. Cool. We've had that for about 4 or 5 years now. What's the next sound? Because I feel like between it can vary, but like between like every 5 to 10 years, there's a shift in the industry with some genre. And I feel like right now it's time for R&B to make a shift. I don't know what is going. I feel like if it was going back to 90s, and that's what the trap soul kind of had, like the 90s 808s and some of the stuff like Jermaine Dupri kind of did.
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't know what the next sound gonna be. I haven't heard anybody that's super new with anything. Like I feel like Lucky Day kind of has his own kind of thing going on. It's like a mix of like Daniel Caesar-ish, but like and Miguel, but like kind of like his own thing still. That's what I get from him, but like I feel like he's the only one to me that sounds like slightly different from like everybody else in R&B.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would agree. I don't know. It's really interesting, and that's the thing that I love about creating new music and being a part of that to some degree. Because like, what's it going to be? I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think it's up to us right now to create that and to see what what people like and to just create new stuff. And it's just really cool. And I remember the first time that I heard Billie Eilish, and I felt that some of them that I hadn't felt in a long time, which is like this is so fresh.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what else
I agree.
term to use.
I like
James Blake.
Don't get me started.
James Blake, I felt when I listen to James Blake, I'm like, yo, it's so many different things, and I love like all of it. And he's somebody that I listen to, and I'm like, it's fresh. Like I can't say, oh, this sounds like, it's a whole bunch of infusions of sounds, and I'm just like, I love it. You know, I don't know what to call it, but I love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's electronic, it's pop,
It's hip hop, it's
classical. It's every. I'm not going to get started.
Rock, a little bit of rock.
The
it's
whole
everything.
episode will be about him if I get on that.
You put me on to him though.
Good.
You did. And I went to listen and I was like, oh my, like he's everything. Like everything I've ever listened to in life, he's like all of it.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing, you know, going back to our previous discussion about mixing genres, like I love doing that. But it's like in doing that, you can create something new. Because everything comes from something. Everything has an origin. So it's like even with hip hop, it has its origins in, you know, other things. You know, it's taken. Back in the day with DJ Kool Herc, when he was, you know, creating and getting those drums breaks, you know, he was getting that from. Because he was from Jamaica, so he was getting a lot of records from Jamaica and getting some of those dance breaks and some of the funk breaks too of the time, and just some of those, and that's crazy. And then with the you know, the MCs and that was from like, even from that has roots in dance hall with what they were doing in Jamaica in that time, which is really interesting because that's even such a different genre, but hip hop has a lot of roots in there. And so it's really cool to see how something can take elements of other things and create something totally new. And I love seeing people that do that. And I love seeing but I don't know, it's just like some things are just, you're just like, yo, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I guess, again, going back to Billie Eilish, it was just like,
I love the album. I really do.
She was just, it's just a lot. It's like she's like whispered singing, but it's like, I don't know. I literally don't even know what to call it.
And then her brother, Phineas, his writing, like every time, like he just throws me so deep into my feelings, almost the way Babyface does, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, more in the pop realm. And I love that so much. I really do like Billie Eilish.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just really crazy just because I don't know. I love it when somebody can come out with something that's like really fresh and really original. And that's why it's like I feel like one thing even like lately that I feel like that I'm doing and that like even we're doing and stuff is just it's evolving and it's cool to see, and I love just trying new things and even going, and that's the cool thing. It's like even I love traveling, going to new places and experiencing those different things because it's like I can incorporate some of those, you know, experiences and stuff like that. I mean, not like in like a, you know, culturally appropriating sort of way, but you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's cool to just get inspiration from new things and new stuff and art and things like that. And it's really, really cool. And I really, really like it.
I feel like some of the most talented and original people and artists that we see are really in tune with themselves as just people.
Yeah.
And what you'll see is that when they are making these bodies of work, it takes them time.
Yes.
They take their time to make it, and it sounds like it, and it's great. And eventually, instead of taking time to make an album, they take time to live their regular lives.
Yeah.
And then they go into hiding or retirement or whatever you want to call it, because they're just living their regular lives. So, and we don't have that, and we just have a whole bunch of people trying to duplicate it.
Right.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Lucky Day sounds like a easier, accessible Frank Ocean. You know, just the sound of it.
That in there too.
You know,
I definitely hear a lot of.
I heard
you know what I mean?
McGill and Frank Ocean
because you know Frank is such a poet. You know, you have to really sit there and digest and break down what he's saying. Lucky you don't have to do that, and it sounds the same, so you get a similar thing. But that's because if Frank Ocean was continuously making music and out and about and whatnot, something like that wouldn't have as much play, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
I do. What I will say on contrary to that is, like, knowing me and myself as an artist, and when I get on and when I'm making music and everybody wants to hear it, and I have fans and I have people that expect something from me, I also feel like I know you got to do your thing and figure out yourself, but like you now have the privilege of giving your art to people and people want to hear it. So don't take too long just because you can. You know, like I don't know, like I feel like there was a time period where Frank was just like, I don't know what was going on. I know he had some like industry stuff going on with the label, and maybe that's what it was. But like I wanted to hear from him, and I didn't hear anything. And then when he came, it's like cool. He came. So that's what I liked about him because he delivered, but there's some people that don't do that. So if you can't deliver like Frank and when you come, you actually make it happen, cool, do your thing. But there's some people that just take forever to deliver and it's like, you know how the majority of the world is. Like we're artists, so we get it. But people that don't understand it, they're like, what are you doing? It's been 3 years. Where is the music? And it's like, as an artist, you have to think about that too. I understand that we have our own journey, and as artists, we're so critical of ourselves. We think too much. We overthink. We go through different changes. Okay, well, I want to do this. Oh, nope, now I want to do this. That's how artists. That's how our brain works. But like, also remember the people that you have the privilege of giving your art to, and say, okay, let me do something for them. You know what I'm saying? Because it's for us, but it's also for them at the same time. Yeah. And I deal with that as an artist all the time. Like, what's the difference? Like, who do you do it for? Are you doing it for yourself? Or are you doing it for your fans? Like, who do you do it for? And that's another question.
That brings you back to the why. Why do you do it? And
right.
Yeah.
People have dreams of being famous, successful, huge artists, touring, winning all these awards. But then when you have it, you start to see, okay, these awards don't mean that much. I wrote this song and I made this music and people love it, but this is not even what I really wanted to sing about. Mm-hmm. And I did it just for the sake of a plaque, and now I'm worn out and tired. Mm-hmm. People's motives start to change and the music starts to evolve, and then people just focus on them instead of the fans, as much.
You should.
And it hurts sometimes, mm-hmm. but it happens, and we see it time and time again.
Yeah. It's definitely tough, and I think it really just depends on... I think it really kind of depends on what you want for your career and the type of career, because, some people want to just, be at the top, and just keep on having, constantly just trying to be number one as much as possible.
Constantly in the conversation.
And then some people, they're just cool with just being able to do the art that they love. And again, if they're on top, cool. If they're not, cool.
Yeah.
And everyone's different, and because some people just want to make just really weird abstract music that's not really accessible to very many people, and they're cool with that because they're getting to express themselves and they're happy with that, even if they don't make a full-time living off of it. Some people are super happy with that. And I think it just kind of depends on, your career and your goals. And I think that's going back to something that I mentioned before is like, having a different definition of success. Every person has a different definition of success. And so, whatever that means to you. And just because, again, success for one person may not be success for another. Some person, sees somebody in the limelight and fame all the time, and there's like, that's success to me. And another person's like, that's not success to me, And so it just kind of depends. And I think it's definitely hard as a fan. You always want to be selfish, and you always want more, mm-hmm. and better or certain things. And it's even tough too, because especially a lot of times if, an artist will evolve beyond the sound that you initially fell in love with them for, that's tough because you're just like, man, I miss the old whoever.
It's like the Daniel Caesar record. That's how I felt. Like, I personally really didn't care too much about it. And I know he was trying different things.
You talking about the first one?
The one he just dropped.
I didn't even listen to it because he said, y'all could cancel me if you want to, and I chose to cancel, so...
That's probably another thing, but it just was there, and I feel like, let me listen to it.
That's what he said. He said, yo, help me fail. Y'all made me rich, and I'm grateful. Y'all want to cancel me? Go ahead. Don't listen to my music. And let me fail. That? He did. It's on video.
Yeah. I didn't see that or hear that.
So I'm part of the crowd who chose to cancel.
I remember when, even though technically it was his third album, To Pimp a Butterfly, when that came out for Kendrick, because I think a lot of people, Good Kid, Mad City was like the first one that they really kind of, who's Kendrick Lamar? Mm-hmm. But then he kind of, with To Pimp a Butterfly, he's like, I know what you guys think I'm going to do, but I'm going to do this and make it a very separate thing. And it's really interesting because not everyone was about it.
True.
And then some people were more about it who weren't even about Kendrick before. And then when he came back with Damn to kind of bring it back a little bit, it was like, okay.
It's a journey. Like,
it is.
If you follow an artist's journey, like sometimes you don't. That's what the real hardcore fans come in at, because like, cool, I know that what you're doing. You're going here. Cool, I might have didn't fuck with that super tight, but I know you're gonna give me something. And that's what Kendrick did. Like, he went here to show you that he's not like, you can't just predict what he's gonna do next. And then he came back and it was still better than what he did before, but it was still like closer to what you might kind of expect. And it was fire. So it's like, as long as you can kind of keep reeling it into your fan base and your hardcore fan base, but continue to gain more. You can't gain more fans if you stay in one area. Like, you have to move around. You have to show diversity. And the real artists are diverse. Like, when we go in there and create, we don't never get in there and say, oh, we want to make this type of record. We just start making records, and then it comes out. It might be hip hop, might be R&B, it might be reggae, Afrobeat, dance hall. It might be like pop. It might be whatever. But that's because we just using the influences that we have. Yeah, and that's, as long as you do that, I feel like you'll continue to keep gaining fans.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, it's like, I think there's, as long as you are you know, and being true to yourself, I really think that the fans that are going to stick with you are going to be those fans that you're going to have for life. To me personally, those are the type of fans that I want to have, because it's like, those are the ones that'll keep coming out to your shows, that'll keep buying your merch. Those are like, that'll sustain a career. For me, at least personally, for my goals for longevity, that's what I see a lot. I see a lot of, you know, artists and people who, you know, they really, you know, they were just true to themselves, and they just kind of kept on, and they would, you know, experiment or do some things like that. But by and large, I think it's really like, they just created that solid fan base that just like fucked with them. Like, it was really interesting because I, you know, on my trip, I saw one of Jimmy Buffett's, you know, Margaritaville things. And I was thinking, I was just like, Jimmy Buffett's such an interesting person, because look what he's created, and he's not really like, he's maybe had a couple of like bigger songs, but he's had a long career. But it's like, I was like, they had some of his videos playing there. He's just like on stage in just like a t-shirt and like a bathing suit, and just like plays guitar. And it's like, and it's people like, literally, it's like you could somehow take like a middle-aged person drinking a margarita on a beach and turn that into a genre. Like, that's what he did somehow. Like, it's so weird, because I'm just like, he worked with country people or rock people or whatever. And I just thought, I'm just like, he's just doing his thing, man. He's just chilling, and he just seems like a really laid back guy. Again, I don't really know. I low-key don't even know that much about him, but I just saw that, and I was just kind of like, he has all these resorts and this whole brand that he's built for himself. They're everywhere. And it's such a vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's such a specific vibe.
I think about Sia.
Terror Squad.
Because she's someone who, like, I mean, she wasn't new when she, like, popped off. Because she's obviously had so much of a career before anyone really was like, who's Sia? But it's like, she came in, like, full force and, like, coming for everyone's neck when she started. Like, popping off in mainstream.
Yeah.
And so, like, a piece of me just kind of, like, as someone who does art, like, in two different mediums, because I do like music, but I also do like film, and a lot of people that I listen to, like Lana Del Rey or like even Sia, like people that have like a narrative, like David Bowie, or like people who
David Bowie.
It's like people who have, I know like but like it's like people who had like a vision for what they're creating. I'll use Lana because she's alive and writing stuff, but like every single time she drops an album, it's a literal different person. Like,
that's so true.
Are still like, some of them are like, I want my sad Lana. Other ones are like, no, I want this like High by the Beach girl. And then it's like, okay, like she just continues to write her music. Like, she's like, I'm progressing. I'm a different person. If you don't really want to rock with it, I understand. My old stuff is there for you to listen to, but I'm still going to continue to make music. And it's just kind of like, do we have this like instant gratification, like what is it, like, culture that it's just like, if a song comes out, if you don't immediately like it, it's trash. Like, we're just gonna throw it out, it's not good. But it's like some of her like newer stuff, I was like, like, I guess I kind of listen to this, like, maybe let me see, because this isn't the line that I know. But I like listened to it 4, 5, 6 times, and I was like, wait a whole minute. Like, I
love it
heard
when that
this time, and I
happens.
It's
was
because
like,
it's so accessible and like we consume music so fast now, and it's so much
exactly.
music.
So I'm like, I don't know
But
how
I
people
feel like-
expect any longevity and fame if every
Yeah.
single time someone tries something new, they're like, that's trash, I'm not listening to it. Like,
But the thing is, I feel like if I'm able to listen to your new song and say, oh, it's trash, and oh, I'm not a fan anymore, then what you put out before that probably wasn't that good.
that's how.
You know what I mean? Because
That's
the thing
true.
about it is, Usher can drop whatever he wants right now. It could be so
I'm
much
still a fan.
garbage.
I'm still
And
a
I'm
fan.
still a diehard fan. And I will
Yes.
be in the first 3
But, like,
rows.
you guys are artists. You see what I'm saying? Like, you guys make music. Like, for the
Yeah.
people who don't,
Mhm.
they're just, it's like, and maybe it's for like the newer generation or like that middle generation where it's kind of like they just, it's like, it's easy to write off someone who's like attempting something. And they're like, well, I'm looking for whoever does this better than them, or like someone else just dropped this, so I'm down. Like, and then you have to wait for them to kind of like come back. And I can see how sometimes it's hard for artists who are like actually pouring out their souls into this, or like trying to step out of their own box, if people won't let them. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing where it's like, that's, I think, the importance of building those core fans.
Yeah.
What?
I'm laughing at Deb because he's ready to say something. I don't
Well,
know.
no, I'm sure I'm about to agree with whatever you're about to say.
I think it's, when you build that core fan base who's gonna rock with you and fuck with you no matter what. See, that's the thing. Like, people can have songs, people can have their moments and their waves, and they'll go up and down. That's not gonna change. Like, there's gonna be people who like will like just some of your songs and won't really fuck with you.
Right.
That's gonna happen. In fact, that's how, when a lot of people get popular or have their first couple songs, that happens a lot. When somebody will be like, oh, I really love that song, versus like, oh, I really love this artist. That's a different type of thing. Like, there's some songs that I really like from artists that I am just kind of, I don't want to say don't really care about, but like, I'm not really like a fan of, like, I'm not really like about to soak up every little thing they're about to drop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, oh, that song was dope. Or, oh, maybe even a couple songs, but I'm not about to just like, yo, whatever, any next single album, I'm buying it. I'm going to go to their show. I'm about to buy some merch. Like, it's not like that for everybody.
But, and to your point, I feel like fans or consumers don't always say what they actually mean. You'll say, hey, do you like Beyonce? Oh, I love Beyonce. Oh, what's your favorite album? Oh, I can't pick one. I love them all. I love Single Ladies. All right. So do you love Beyonce or do you love the song? So, that's,
right.
I agree with that.
And that's the thing where it's like, I can see how it would be tough when it would seem like your career might be taking like a little bit of a downturn, but it's like, things go in cycles, things go in waves. And again, I really, my favorite rapper, E40, shout out to E40. Yep. Hey, you don't know.
I was speaking.
Yeah, there you go. This is going on YouTube. YouTube is forever.
Oh man, I
that's
love Hayden, man. I mean, I like that. Go out on a ledge and just claim what you claim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I will.
Claim that.
But that's the thing. It's like, I mean, his top albums are from like 3 different decades. Like, that's dope. Like, that's like, that's a dope career. That's a dope kind of career to have.
What I will say though, to the artists out there, and this is something I'm starting to recognize, I do think, this can be different from people, but I feel like you have to solidify who you are as an artist first before you start, I guess, diving or trying. Because like I said, as an artist, we're all over the place. But you have to solidify who you are to people so people know. Like, people know who Beyonce is, or they feel like they know who she is. So when she tries stuff, it doesn't matter at this point because she's Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? But when she first came out, it wasn't like, oh, let me go try some weird. No. Stay what you do what you do, what people love you for first. And then it's like, okay, now it's time. I've mastered this. Now let me try some stuff.
I don't know if
y'all
I
can
agree
say
with that.
Y'all can say you don't, but every artist that you know, they did that.
Well, I'm
Michael
thinking about
Jackson.
Kendrick. I'm thinking about Kendrick right now.
Kendrick
How you
solidified
just
himself.
compared Good Kid, Mad City to Pimp a Butterfly.
That was a couple in
They
between.
they put out To Pimp a Butterfly just to get it out the way. That weird, well, not necessarily weird, but just different. Not
Right.
Yeah,
what
just
they were
on the-
expecting
on the
as a
jazz
follow.
shit. Yeah.
It was not solidified. I know I wasn't a solidified fan.
Kendrick was
a lot of people I
solidified
know were not
enough
solidified.
to where he could do that. Then he came right. It didn't like he did it and went crazy. He did it and came right back. And he already kind of did enough things at the beginning to kind of say, okay, this is who I am. I'm rappity rap. I'm backpack. This is what I do. Let me show y'all some different stuff about me, and let me bring y'all back with a mixture of it. And I feel like he did that well because he came back. Now, if he would have went to Pimp a Butterfly and then like a Pimp a Butterfly .2, I think he would have lost a lot of people. Because even I have conversations with people that be like, bro, I don't fuck with Kendrick. I'm like, how you not fuck with Kendrick? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you not? But they're like, because he does too much rapidy rap, and it's like, okay, whatever. But like, because he brought it back, I think he kept a fan base.
So I would say that success isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. And
Right.
that thing that can work and does work for some people doesn't work for everyone, but also vice versa. I would say that the thing that I hate that I think with all of this is when some people will lose themselves trying to do what people think
These
they
people,
should.
exactly.
Right.
I don't think that, you know, solidifying yourself as an artist or having maybe your first couple albums that are like on a very similar vibe, that's cool. If that's you doing you, like what you like is in your heart and what's there, cool. But I would say, I think that a lot of times if you're really, I mean, there's some people who it's like that's their thing where they're just doing something totally different, like each time. I'm trying to think. I feel like Beck is one of those people.
Beck is definitely
Like,
one of those people.
Yeah, but that's cool because like that's his thing, and there's almost a common thread within the fact that there isn't.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. It's hard.
You hit it right on the head. Yes.
But I think it's, again, it kind of depends on what you want and what your strategy is and what you want for your career. Because I do think that as far as if you're trying to get to a huge level, I think like someone like Beyonce on Beyonce's level, I don't know if she could have gotten quite to that level had she deviated too far to certain degrees. I definitely see that she wouldn't have gotten to that degree because there is a sense of, for I think a whole general population, speaking a little bit to Trez's point, there is something to, giving people a certain thing and a certain idea. And after people have gotten that long enough, or when you've gotten to a point in your career where you're like, okay, cool, I've established whatever big base I wanted to establish. Now I'm going to deviate from that some and some more. Even when Beyonce does it, there's still that common thread element of Beyonce that is still there.
Right.
And I think, to me, I feel like that's where the magic kind of middle ground is to when you can step out and diversify your sound, but you still have your sound and it's still you. There's still that common thread of you. Now, the problem is, again, to me, when people aren't really being themselves, and that's will key. Show through, like it will.
That's key.
And that's something, or if what you started out wasn't true to yourself to begin with, that happens a lot. Because a lot of times if you started out one way and and that doesn't always, sometimes if you deviate from that, that'll actually work for you, like Pink, like that's
exactly
like if she hadn't have done that, she would have just gotten lost in the crowd, which was really dope. And she established such a sound by doing that, but she's definitely, I think, more of an exception rather than the rule. I think if you start out maybe not doing something as true to yourself, and then when you do, you're probably going to lose some people. I think she had at least a slight added benefit of she didn't catch on so much because there were so many other people doing that sort of same sound that she was doing on her first record.
Yeah.
I think that she
I
kind
didn't
of
even know about it. You played some stuff for me. And I was like, oh damn, I didn't even know she was doing that.
Yeah.
What?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
He
My
played records and I
mother
was
used
like,
to run that. Yo, we
I was
got a
like-
bootleg from around the corner, and we ran it. We ran that album to the
I did
ground.
not know Hayden played it. And I was like, I didn't even know she was on this.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that goes to your point though.
But I think that worked in her favor in that
It
particular
did.
instance. But if that does pop and that's not you doing you, and then you suddenly deviate, if that people are confused, they're just like, wait, but I thought you were this, and then you're actually just like, JK, I'm not. And people are just like, well, then what the
Well,
Well,
fuck?
that's how people
different
feel about
area.
Rihanna. You know,
Oh.
they made her try to be this island. Well, she is an island girl, but
She's
they
from
try,
Barbados.
you know,
Try to
but they
put her
tried
in
to
this-
make her do the,
Yeah.
you know, the island music
Find every
and just
play.
try to make it more crossover. And now we have out umbrellas in the rain, so it's just like what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bitch better have money. That's so different.
don't-
Like, think about Rihanna. That's one person that did it
That's why I don't,
well because she did everything.
She's like
But her attitude is what her personality, her attitude in her that speaks through her music is what kept her like grounded. No matter what, you can feel that Rihanna like
genuinely
I don't
just
care.
feel like if a narrative is attached to your change, it's going to be successful. Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I
Yes.
totally agree with that
Agree.
too.
It's like a lot of people try to be like experimental and they lose people out in outer space.
Mhm.
And it's like, no, like Rihanna, when she came back with Good Girl Gone Bad or whatever, unfortunately I wasn't rocking with it, but she was like, this is my persona. Beyonce, Lemonade. Like she had like, she, like these people attach like a persona,
Yeah.
like a second, like Sasha Fierce, like it's like they attach
like
some
Christina
someone-
Aguilera and Xtina.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
Dirty came out, I
Oh
lost
my
it.
God,
I
yes.
still lose it to this day.
Yes.
That video
Yes.
came on, I was just like, this was hot.
Yeah.
These people
Yeah.
have like different Rihannas, different Beyonce, like blank Beyonce, angry Beyonce, happy Beyonce, sad Beyonce. Like there's something for everyone, and I just feel like maybe that's gonna be the key for someone to like really break through. Because what's annoying to me as someone who's kind of, I guess, like alternative or fits in an alternative space, I hate that it's not mainstream sometimes because the people are just like so dang good. I'm like,
Yes.
your music is like literal like vocal art and no one can care at all.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but then it's like they should be successful. They should be the ones raking in the dough, but they're not.
Yeah.
And I'm like, a lot of people, but it's like some indie films are better than like some of the movies that
Yeah.
come out, but it's about the title and the backing and the all the other stuff. It's like there are some movies that should have popped off, but it was just like, well, we didn't know who that was, or like what producer, Stephen who, like no, like they didn't care, and so it's just like it's like frustrating
And it's
sometimes.
there's a lot of
Like,
facets to it too, because a lot of times people will just not know, you know,
Yeah.
and especially again going back to my point about when you're bringing a new sound and something different, it's a lot more difficult to find somebody to invest in that
Yeah.
on an industry level.
Yeah.
So therefore, you may not have the type of budget that somebody else does to get it in front of as many eyes and as many faces. So it's like a lot of people who are really dope. Like literally, if more people just knew about them.
I was-
But that's
uh,
on so. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, you good.
I kind of forgot. No, I didn't.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why. Okay, you guys know that app. It's like, was it Fan something, where they've partnered with these venues, because you said on the industry level it's hard for them to invest,
Yeah.
and it's just like on all levels. Say an artist wants to book a venue.
Mhm.
The whoever the booking person is might not believe in them or think that it'll bring in that much money, so they'll be like, no, turn them away. But there's this app service where it's just like, okay, you can book the venue for this day, but only after you've reached this threshold of
Tickets sold or something?
tickets
That's
sold
fire.
and whatnot. Yeah, you know
I
what I
never
mean?
heard
And then
it. That's
people
dope.
can
That's
actually
dope.
see the value, which is, I think that's really
That's
That's
dope.
dope.
You know,
Yeah,
you earn your
we need to
way.
look that up.
Yeah.
We need to put the link to them in the
Got you.
description
Hold on, I'll
for
find it right
sure.
now.
I think that there's a middle ground. I think because a lot of times people get this idea of I've either got to do my art or sell out. And it's like,
True.
but you know what I'm saying? It's just like these two diametrically opposing things when it's
Right.
like, no, like there's
Right.
reasons that both of those work in their own way. Because
For
it's like if
sure.
you go
Yeah.
too far to either end of that, to me personally, I think that you're selling yourself short.
Either
Because look, there's a reason why certain songs or certain people or certain things pop off or whatever, you know, and there's something that you can learn from that. Even if you're just gonna do whatever abstract or underground or whatever, and you couldn't give two shits about getting on any chart ever, still, if this is something you want to do as a career and that you actually care about and want it to do the best, like for me, like I look at my songs like my children. I want them to have the best future that they can have.
You said that before.
Yeah, I do. I say that a lot. But to me, then I'm just like, okay, cool. I will, like, certain decisions that I will make or certain things that I might do would help give that child song a better future, more opportunities for success. So, you know, it's like, okay, cool. Like for certain songs, it's like, okay, cool. They're not going to play a 6-minute song on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Or they're not, you know, or people are gravitating to this or that, or maybe this type of sound or whatever. And there's certain, or this type of hook. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, making certain choices and tailoring what you already do to give. And you don't have to do that, you know, for everything. Cause sometimes do the 6-minute song. Cause sometimes those will be like low key, the most fire that your hardcore fan bases will love.
Like, what was that? Frank, Pyramids.
That song.
That was like 7-8 minutes.
It's 10 minutes.
It's 10 minutes.
It's 10 minutes.
Same with Bad Religion.
Oh, really?
Bad Religion.
But I don't think that was a single.
I think Bad Religion. Oh, well.
I don't think that was a single. Pyramids was a single.
You're right.
Because I remember him bragging about it.
That was like, again, Frank goes outside the norms on a lot of ways.
He's
and that's
definitely
something
an
that's
exception
like
to a lot of rules.
Not many people can do that, even with Frank's skill. That still is, just because that song is just so fucking good.
It's great.
Like, I
Tyler
think
Creator can, by the way.
Yes.
Just to throw that out
I
there.
love that album so much.
I didn't realize, but now I realize he could drop a 10-minute song and I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Yeah. No, but and that's the thing. It's like, and again, like it's sometimes there are rules and sometimes you can just break those rules.
Sometimes you learn the rules so that you know to break them. That's what music, that's the point of music theory.
Yeah.
You learn the rules of music and then you go break them.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it helps to know it. So in closing, how would you summarize what we just talked about?
I would say that, you know, I would say, like, you know, choosing what type of goals that you want in your career is important. And I think that, you know, I feel like there's a space for everybody, regardless of your age, regardless of, you know, what type of music that you're doing. I feel like there's a space. I think it may be different for everybody, but yeah.
How about you, Trash?
Yeah, I think that the first step, like he was saying, is to figure out who and what you want to be as an artist in this industry. You know, like what kind of music do you want to make? Who do you want to make it for? You make it for yourself, you make it for the fans. And those things can change. It's not like you're stuck with, okay, well, now I want to make music for the fans now. And then 2 years later, you might say, I want to make music for... That's fine, but and we've said this so many times, and it comes back to this every single time. Just be yourself and what's true to you. What's true to you will always speak through. People can always see the real and see the fake. They'll always figure it out. And that's why some people can do whatever they want to do and they don't stick to a certain, like, I need to do this, I need to do that. Because they're real to themselves and we can feel that and we can see that and the music speaks that. Yeah. So just be who you want to be and figure out that first. And then the music is like the easiest part for us creatives. We can figure that out. But also a tip that I want to give to artists and songwriters is like, because for me, I had the issue of like, because I rap and I sing and I do all kinds of different music. Some music sounds nothing like this song, sounds nothing like this song. And it's like, man, that's you, Trez. And like, people always try to tell me like, you should do this or you shouldn't do this because you're that kind of... Look, do what the fuck you want to do. But also the songs that you don't feel like you should do as yourself, you can do those as a songwriter and you can write those and pitch those to other people and figure out the way to get those connections where you can say, well, cool, this song sounds good for Chris Brown. Okay, figure out who his A&R is or who his manager is and figure out how you can get that song to his people. Like, there's ways around it. So figure that out because I took a long time to figure that out for myself. So figure that out first and that can help you in your artistry because cool, as an artist, this is what I want to represent. This is what I want to be. But as a songwriter, I'm so diverse, I can do this. Yeah. So take that.
That's true. Yeah, man.
I would say learn the rules so that you know which ones to break.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Cool.
There you go.
All right, guys. That was a good episode. Create, innovate, motivate. We out.
We out.
Create.